Now, until a few years ago, Zimbabwe was a prime tourist destination for Europeans, Asians and Americans. The southern African country boasts a diverse and rich culture, good infrastructure and one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Victoria Falls. The country has begun to resolve some of its political challenges and tourism is beginning to benefit the economy. There's been a 7% increase in international arrivals over the past year alone. Well, joining me now in the studio, Walter Mzembi, Zimbabwe's Minister of Tourism, who is in London attending an international conference. Delighted to have you here. Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Thanks for the privilege.
Your country, Zimbabwe, it's fair to say, has suffered tremendously from negative publicity as well as an economic downturn. Yet tourism remains one of the key sectors of the economy and continues to thrive. How do you explain that?
Well, what we've done is basically turn that adversity into an opportunity. Because today, if you did a quick census of who doesn't know Zimbabwe, you would get very few hands showing up. So it's very widely known for those reasons that you have just shared with me. But in our engine room of strategy, we've turned all that adversity into an opportunity to the extent where we've pitched destination branding above nation branding, because with nation branding, you get all these other factors thrown in. But we've also begun now in the most recent past to leverage with elements of nation branding. For example, in governance, as you rightfully pointed out, we've gone past our dark period when we are leveraging with the constitutional democracy that we are now. To position Brand Zimbabwe going forward.
Well, one of the things that's likely to hurt you was that very controversial story about Cecil the lion, a renowned figure in Zimbabwe's Hwange National Park. We all know the story. Walter Palmer, an American, paying roughly $50,000, got an official hunting license to kill the lion. Many people saw it as poaching. Now, the question is, why would Zimbabwe allow such a prized animal to be killed for a mere $50,000? And is that not a form of officially sanctioned poaching?
Well, in a dollarized economy, a dollar means quite a lot. There's what we call the bottom billion, which lives under $1 in the world today. So a $50,000 stake for a villager or a team of people who may actually connive around a hunting prize like Cecil.
Yeah, but it was a legal license. He was given a legal license.
Yes, I appreciate their livelihoods are basically decimated on the back of many of the issues and the adversities that you have mentioned now. But the lesson going forward is that here is a prized asset that is taken out in a conservation model that has been widely acclaimed as one of the best in the world. What has gone wrong is that we have many of our communities who are now accessories to the scourge itself because of their deprived circumstances.
Yeah, but what I want to ask you, Minister, is there anything positive at all that comes from hunting and killing animals like Cecil the lion and others? Because you're issuing official licenses to people to do that. I mean, and from the figures say that 0.5% of Zimbabwe's GDP comes from trophy hunting, and the benefits rarely reach ordinary Zimbabweans.
That's precisely what I was about to explain to you, that when you have ordinary people actually watching this predatory behavior by international markets in connivance with our own enhanced classes who are getting hunting quotas, you get the communities actually watching this predatory culture, and to the extent that they are not motivated by the model that is in place, the governance model around conservation that is in place now, they can easily be drafted as accessories to poaching.
Right. Okay. Well, let's move on to slightly warmer waters. You're holding this conference, or you're part of this conference that's highlighting the positive things about Zimbabwe's tourism. What measures is your government taking now to make Zimbabwe a more competitive destination?
Well, first and foremost is the peace dividend. It doesn't matter how competitive a destination may be. If it is situated in a conflict zone, it will not sell. So in tourism, we say we are unable to market conflict. What we've been able to guarantee as the government of Zimbabwe is the peace dividend, the ability to secure the safety of a tourist. And if you look back into history, in the last 3 or 4 decades, there's not been a single loss of life of a tourist. And that in itself is testimony which we sell and put forward to our international source markets. So peace is paramount.
And the government is committed to rebranding that
absolutely
Zimbabwe
around
project.
that pillar of governance.
Right.
I think peace has been one of those things going for us. But even more importantly, the weather itself today is a selling feature. Zimbabwe is one of the most climatable countries in the world, not by my own acclamation.
Well, I'd like to go to Victoria Falls. But briefly, part of the problem is always infrastructure. Are you putting infrastructure in place to support the sort of tourism that you'd like to have? We are working on a 5,000 megawatt economy going forward, in addition to the 2,200 megawatts that is currently powering Zimbabwe. We are doing roads now. All our major trunk roads are up for upgrades. We have just recently and about to commission the new Victoria Falls Airport after doing some refurbishing work in Bulawayo and Harare. So we are returning Zimbabwe to its hub status, where it used to service 48 international carriers before the meltdown period that you alluded to. And going forward, more importantly than anything else, is to declare Zimbabwe an open destination. So there's a whole regime of visa liberalization which seeks to admit openly international visitors from across the globe. Okay. We'll be announcing very soon a new dispensation of visa on arrivals for the Chinese. Brilliant. We shall look forward to hearing about that. Walter Mzembi, Zimbabwe's Minister of Tourism, thank you very much indeed.